Hello, art friends. My name is Fleshwad, and welcome to another Drawing Your Creepypasta OCs video. Today, I have two terrifying homemade creepypastas. Our first creepypasta was submitted by Zip T. This creepypasta is titled The Voice Logs. Final log. A female voice. Hey, is this thing working? Okay. I have to tell you what I saw. What's in that house? It's after me, and I don't know what to do. Emily, oh God. I'm sorry. Look, if you find this tape, the others are in a white backpack in the basement of Avenue. Please, someone find this and tell. No, get away. Thud, crunch. Recorder spinning before a soft whisper is heard, inaudible in the mic. The recording stops. You look for the white bag. You find it, but only one tape stood out. Log 6. Now let's see if... Oh, I got it. Hello, Emily. I'm making you another one of these recordings for you to listen to in the future. Well, we recently moved in a while back with you, my daughter, and my husband. We were all fine the first day, but little things are starting to happen. Various objects are going missing from your room. At first, it was just socks, which we didn't really find off, but soon you lost your baby blanket and dolls. We had no real clue what was happening, but at the moment, you're only a few months old. The tape cuts off for a moment, only sound seeming to be a soft whir, before she sighed. Who am I kidding? You won't be able to see these. Listen, stranger who finds this, I need to tell you what's happening. I have this horrible gut feeling, and my husband, he doesn't believe me. At first, we thought we might have been misplacing things, often blaming each other for the mishaps, but I was wrong. We were so wrong. Later in the week, me and my husband continued to get into fights. I yelled at him to get out and go find a place to stay. He agreed and left, and I haven't seen him since. I'm worried that it got him, that it took him. Things keep going missing. Recently, I found Emily laying on a pillow pallet in her room. She went missing. Her whole crib and her. All I have left is her teddy bear. I went to the police, but they just believe it was my husband that took her. They said they would look for her, but wherever she is, I don't think they'll find her. The audio stops. You dig around and find a 7th tape. Placing it in, you hear a high-pitched whirring sound before it clicks and plays. It seemed to just continue like it was the same tape, but the woman's voice sounded off. A long pause, and her voice sounds shaky, not that of sadness, but of fear and joy. There's something here. Maybe it's returning them. Emily? Jeremy, are you back? A creak is heard from the door opening, and a scream. You find a photo of the monster standing where the crib once was, reaching to grab the teddy bear. Its shadow is that of the family. What are you? How did you... No, stay right there. You can hear her breath become heavy as she ran on the hardwood floors. She seemed to run downstairs and close the door with a slam as she spoke in gasps. I'm putting these tapes down here and running. If you find my last tape, run far away from here before it does to you what it did to me. The tape ends. You feel wrong in your own house. A soft creak is heard from the basement door. You turn around and everything goes black. The tape continues to whir, finally stopping and rewinding by itself. I shall keep you for my own, my little teddy. The whisper was plain as day, but too bad no one got to hear it. The end. Monster description. The monster has green/red eyes, the colors seeming to fade together, an emaciated figure, and what appeared to be a teddy bear. It wore a gray cloak, its skin a dark grayish tone in the darkness, though in the light it is pale and ghostly gray. It also seemed to have long strands of gray hair from under the cloak hood. Seems to obsess over children and teddy bears. Emily description. A baby with a few strands of blonde hair and green eyes. Mother's description. Dirty blonde with green and gray eyes. Looks young. Father description. Dark green eyes, black hair. He looks older than the mother. The mother escaped the basement through a cellar door, only to meet her doom. And that was the Creepypasta, The Voice Logs, by YouTube user ZipT. Thank you so much for submitting your Creepypasta OC. I hope you like the reading and the drawing. Our next Creepypasta is titled 6 and was submitted by Datness of the Light 2131. This is the story of a young boy whose true name, Mason, is lost to all but himself. Now the boy was always a bit smart for his age. His parents called him a prodigy, a child genius, and they weren't wrong. But he had a problem. A very rare, very serious mental disorder known as Wendigo psychosis. Now this is where the gore comes in. Wendigo psychosis is a rare disorder where the afflicted is plagued with the inescapable desire to consume the flesh of their fellow humans. Chilling, isn't it? This is a real thing real people have been diagnosed with. It is a very real, very scary thing. Anyways, the boy knew of his disorder and was smart enough to hold some control over it so he doesn't actually hurt anyone. Now, he had known from a very young age of a terrible organization the government was hiding, the very same one his parents had been established to help take down. Seeing his genius, they very quickly let him in on all of their knowledge. They trained him to pick up on clues and plot against this sinister organization. With the help of their son, who was, at the time, 5 years old, the boy's parents came up with a way to take it down once and for all. That's when things got bad. The night of their discovery, a fire broke out in their home. Run! Run as far as you can and never look back! The boy did all he could to follow those instructions, those frantic words of a dying woman he'd once called his mother. He knew she was right. He had to get out of there before they caught him and killed him too. Otherwise, the others would never know what was truly going on. They'd never hear those fatal words that could make the difference between life and death for thousands of innocent people. But he couldn't move. He was held in place by fear and horror. He felt the air around him hot and suffocating black with smoke. He saw the flames circling all around him, burning all he'd ever known to an ugly black, taunting him with the dying screams of those he held most dear and the horrible smell of burning flesh. He tried to cry, but his tears evaporated before they even got to his cheeks. He tried to scream, but all that came out was broken, ragged breathing and a harsh cough that shook his entire small body. He tried to run, to do as his mother had pleaded with him to do, but he was held trapped in place by the never-ending horror around him. They were here. They wanted the secrets. They wanted his life, and they got it. But not in the way that they had planned. Because he was so young, those who had started the fire decided to take him as a test subject. He was a small child and would be easier than adults. Besides, he had no guardian anymore. His parents had quickly been killed by the fire. There was no one to stop them. He kicked and screamed but wasn't able to break free from them. He kicked and screamed, but he wasn't able to break free from them. For years they kept him in a cage-like cell, letting him out only to test him in ways too horrific for me to properly describe. He had become nothing more than their twisted little human experiment. Though by now, calling him human is a bit of a stretch. They starved him, feeding him just enough to keep him alive. They broke him both in body and spirit. Boy no longer speaks. He no longer fights when they hurt him. He doesn't resist in any way, won't even flinch. He only ever stares with those big empty eyes of his, filled with sorrow and knowledge far, far beyond his years, but glazed over and almost dead looking, as if he's gazed into the pits of hell itself. In some ways, he has. He would sit in the cell and stare. He lived to die. But something happened. At some point, one of the scientists forgot to lock the cell. That's when he took his chance. The boy who they called 6, short for Subject 676, leaped from the cell, tackling the man to the ground and holding him there with inhuman strength. 3 years without treatment to help him control his disorder had taken its toll. He bit into the man's neck, ripping it with a growl that could only be described as inhuman. Quickly, 6 finished his brutal meal, only then realizing what he had done, but also that he was free. So he ran out into the forest the lab was hidden in. There he lives today, being no more than 10 years old, hidden away in a cave, waiting for his next victim to come. 6 is a very strange boy. He is creepy and terrifyingly genius, but he's also a child. He is cute in a twisted, gory way, smart beyond belief, and constantly used to create chilling scenes that send shivers down your spine and make you fear something otherworldly is actually happening. Makes you fear for your life, even though you're only reading the story. But he is a child. He is small and quiet and weak. He breaks easy. He cries. He looks up at you with those big, sad eyes, so devoid of happiness and glazed with the sense of death, and tears at your soul. You want to help him. You want to protect him. But you also want to run away from him. He scares you and makes your heart break. Just a bit every time he does, well, anything. He is a child, but he is a creepy child. He has big, dark brown eyes that make him look broken. They are heartbreakingly sad and filled with impossible knowledge, but also glazed over and dead looking, like he's simply waiting for death to hit him. And sometimes there's a brief glimmer of hunger in the back of them. That's when you need to run. He has long brown hair, unruly and almost fluffy looking from years of being tortured. He is impossibly thin. Every bone in his body can be seen if you look close enough. His eyes are dark and sunken in. He looks like he hasn't slept properly in years. Because of malnutrition at such a vital growing stage, 6 is much smaller than he should be, and even though he is now 10 years old, he looks only 6 at most. His clothes are tattered and dirty, stained with something suspiciously like blood. They hang off him in a sick kind of way, where you know they should be several sizes too small by now, but in fact they are baggy and far too loose. His mouth is always covered in blood, and his expression is always one of pure emotionlessness. Perhaps a glimmer of fear every now and then. His eyes are once again filled with a constant, deep-set sorrow. And that is the end of the creepypasta titled 6, submitted by Datness of the Light 2131. Thank you so much for submitting your creepypasta. I hope you liked my reading as well as the drawing. That is all the creepypasta OCs I have for you in this video. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Don't forget to comment your creepypasta OCs down below. Thank you so much for watching, art friends. Until the next video, bye.